Hi, I'm Edwin.
I am Jack.
I'm here.
Welcome back to the 950 Club. Today we'll be catching up with Jamaal for another one of his surprise catch-ups. What do you got for us today, Jamaal?
My first surprise catch-up is Tomo-Chan is a girl.
Woohoo! I don't think anybody in this room disliked that show. I think we all loved it. Let us know. What do you think, Jamaal?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, the look on your face.
I liked it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like it nearly as much as you two did.
Okay.
I did not like it nearly as much as you two did.
If I had to ask what your favorite high school anime is, what would it be?
My favorite high school anime?
High school romantic slice of life.
Because it's new terrain for you, I would take it.
Toradora?
No.
I haven't seen it.
Really? That's like the grandfather of like...
It's the game, the ultimate like one you think of with the genre.
I don't have a favorite. I mean, I don't do favorites like that.
No, what that's what I mean. I'm trying, like, if you have any, or
I haven't watched a lot.
That's the
like
thing.
I watched
Yeah.
this. I watched Kaguya-Sama.
okay,
I watched,
and Comey.
Comey.
There you go. It's still new terrain. That's what I was trying to get at, because it's still relatively new terrain for you.
Yeah, I mean, I like those other two better than I like Tomo-Chan.
No shame. Those are great shows.
Tomo-Chan wasn't bad.
All right, here we go.
June annoyed me.
Because of his rationale.
He was very annoying to me.
Okay.
Really?
I found him to be very annoying. I like Tomo. I thought the side characters were the show.
The side characters were the show. I mean,
I thought the side characters were the show.
I
Even
think-
Martin, who read the manga and loves it, like before the show, even he has even yet to finish it.
Well, he pretty much thought, how are they going to make this a show? And his answer was the Carol character.
Yes.
And yeah, the side characters stole the show from. But that's one of the things where you have a good anime when the side characters are strong enough to stand on their own. It's one of the things about anime in the way that it's structured, because your two primaries kind of have to fit a certain model in order to play out the same storyline. Because you have like the oblivious character. You usually have like an oblivious main character who is like, does she like me? Doesn't she like me? Obviously, dude, she likes you. They all like you.
Will they, want they?
Yeah. So it kind of has to be structured that way. And I think that both Tomo-Chan and Jurichu stand well on their own. But yeah, the two, Carol and
Misuzu.
Yeah.
Absolutely steal this show away from them.
Yeah.
And Misuzu, as far as I'm concerned, she's like, that's the contender for Girl of the Year. Because
Could be. Very well could be. Both of
Yeah.
them, I would argue. Wow.
She was great.
Yeah,
She was great.
manipulative and like
She had a whole
Bitter
scheme.
and, like,
yes.
But
Dejected
she had a
and-
heart under all that.
she did.
She had a heart.
It's
under
like
all
the
that.
hardest heart to find.
Well, Tsundere, man, like yeah.
She's the ice. Like, she has ice around the ice heart. Yeah.
I mean, she
twisted love, man.
Very.
and just the interplay between her and Carol.
It's hilarious.
And with
so
Tomo.
good.
And with Tomo too. She definitely makes Tomo shine too. Yeah.
Yeah, like that they shined really well. Like
Yeah.
Carol, when she was first introduced, I'm like,
Annoying as all hell.
I'm not gonna like her.
Yeah, and
It's
yet,
gonna be annoying.
yep.
But she showed so many. She had so many moments where she was like, she had that bubbly, like freewheeling personality, but she was smart.
Yeah.
She lets you know at times, like, I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
You may not know what's going on,
But I do.
but I do.
Yeah.
Even where Misuzu's like, oh wait,
Yeah.
hold on a
Yeah.
second. She got me on this one.
Yep.
And she's like,
Well,
yeah.
because they let her in without thinking that she was essentially they let her in without realizing that she was a complete and full human being,
Mhm.
thinking, "Oh, this is just a ditz."
Yeah.
And I think that got all of us really. And so when you find out that she is a full and complete human being, it was kind of one of those things where you're like, "Oh wow, this show is like a little bit more sophisticated than your usual like rom-com."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even when she went to her house and she saw her mom, she was like, oh, her mom's kind of nuts too.
Yeah.
And Tomo's mom and Misuzu's mom, they're unique too. They had a good spot near the end. Yeah.
Yeah, they were interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Very much
Misuzu
so.
as Cinderella, I'm like, oh my god.
We haven't even discussed
was-
the finale because
oh
the final
my
two
God.
episodes, like we recorded our best of the season, like around
Mhm.
9th or 10th episode. The final 3 episodes of Tomo-Chan
hadn't even aired, and yeah, those are
Yeah, like I don't even need a second season. I don't need an OVA. I don't need a reboot. It's perfect.
I can kind of agree. I mean, I don't feel that like
Because if they do season 2, I'm curious. Don't get me wrong, but yeah,
I don't think it needs another season.
yeah.
neither do I.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think them getting together wraps up the story.
Pretty much.
I don't
Yeah.
think
Oh.
it's like the other. There's some shows where it's like, all right, they finally get together. You want to see how this grows. With this show, it's like I think you just kind of know that they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just them getting over the hump to get together.
Yeah.
Tomo, I liked her character progression in this. June, he just like as the oblivious dude, it just annoyed the heck out of me. And usually I can like, all right, they're kids, they're young, and then, but it just got to a point where I'm just like, all right, come on, dude, really?
Well,
Like I can understand, like, hey, we're friends, and I see her like as one of the guys or whatever. But at some point, it's just like, are you going too far to not see this? And I get that he like wanted to compete, and he saw her as like this pillar that he had to overcome.
yeah.
Like I get that, but I don't. It's even at that point, I'm like, what are you trying to do? Why are you competing with this girl? She's not trying to compete with you.
Yeah.
She is very actively trying to be with you. And you're just completely pushing that aside and like trying to Goku your way through this girl and to get up here. So, all right, now I'm up here and she can see me as this way. But she already sees you that way.
Well,
And you know she sees you that way.
Well, this show is really about the way this show resolves itself is it's about communication. It's about the things we don't tell each other, the things we don't communicate with each other,
even with friends, yes.
even with friends, and the way that these dynamics play out, and the fear and trepidation about how these dynamics will play out if we go down those roads. And I think you get some of that with his character. And I think he's trying to resolve, I think, things from when they were kids that I think that he hadn't resolved and that she had kind of like moved on from, and that he was still kind of like trying to get through in his head. Yeah. So I think that that's where you get, because he has a longer arc. Him resolving his arc takes a lot longer than
Yeah.
everybody else's, but I think that's because they're focusing more on Tomo-Chan at the beginning. So he kind of takes like a back seat until later on when she's kind of like resolved in what is that she wants and what she wants to do.
And she's adapting, she's growing, and
Yeah.
she has to be more feminine. And that's partially why I could see where Jamal is like, ooh, okay, you figured us out. Like, he doesn't see the relationship unfold. He sees her as a friend. Like, I've grown up with you. That's a rare.
Well, not only a friend, like, but Jamal said, she's also like a rival.
Yeah, a rival, competitor, teammate.
Yeah. But also like
it's a lot of things.
In a weird way, she's his marker
achievement
for what it kind of means to be a man
as well,
which is like weird because it's Tomo-Chan and it's called Tomo-Chan. It's a girl.
And it's a guy thing too,
but it's his like she is his marker on like what it is that he needs to be in order to be a man in this world, which is kind of weird.
It's very strange.
It's not. It's definitely not an American perspective.
No. Like if you were to, like if he were to view her dad like that, I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it.
Well, her dad isn't like that at all, though.
But he's not.
He's like this hard ass softy.
Yeah.
But you know, I get that he's almost.
But Tomo's the same way. She's very
top of class.
She's hard and she'll go off, but she's very soft and caring and loving of her friends. Like and she's very protective and she has that thing where she wants to be friends with you.
Yeah.
She just has that hard exterior.
Yeah, she also spends a lot of the time beating the shit out of him.
He deserves it. He's an idiot.
Well, confused high school boy.
No. Well, see, there were things that confused me because like there was the point where like Misuzu was talking to her during that period where he didn't talk to Tomo, which again to me was just like that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, dramedy serve.
She was like, yeah, a lot of the girls liked him, but he really just didn't show any interest in him. And it's just like, all right, if a lot of girls liked him, then he just randomly just, all right, Misuzu, let's go out. Like of all the people, how come nobody ever like approached him like that?
Maybe they did. Maybe he didn't rejected them.
Yeah, but like, I mean, off screen, she says on screen, all the girls like blah, blah, blah.
Oh, the first episode, yeah.
It seems like everybody just kind of punks him. The way she's speaking of him isn't really how he's portrayed. And that was kind of weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little off-putting. The little thing with him and Misuzu dating was kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a good swerve.
That was funny.
And I like how they went back to it. They could have like ignored it, make it one episode, but they bring it back.
No,
they do.
Because it was good to see that. Because like you see that she hates this dude. She hates him so much. And I'm just like, why are they always hanging around each other if she hates him so much? And then you see like that he broke up with her before she could do it. Because she just had this smile on her face like, oh, I'm going to break his heart, blah, 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 blah.
And nope.
And he's just like, I don't think we should do this anymore. And she just dies.
Oh, yeah.
She just died.
Well, yeah.
You know, she's just living the rest of her life to make him miserable.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Never scorn a woman. Woman scorned. Oh, man. Listen,
especially not that one.
Oh, yeah.
No. Yeah.
Especially not that one.
Oh, no.
So there was that. Like Carol, and wasn't that her cousin?
Yes.
That was weird to me.
Distant cousin.
That's still that falls under.
And I was wondering if he was American too, but
he wasn't American, but I think she was.
Yes.
Was it the American or British?
Ooh, good question.
I don't remember.
I thought she was American.
I believe. I believe
she might have been American. I don't remember.
I don't know. That all falls under the category of weirdo sex stuff to me. So, him being in love with his cousin is weirdo sex stuff to me. That was a little that stuff always kind of like makes me go like,
yeah, it's something that I think if they would have said they were just childhood friends,
similar to
I would have been fine with it, but with them being cousins, it
related in some way. Yeah, I know you. Yeah,
fair.
Yeah,
it made it weird to me.
I didn't think. I just like wrote that off, and I said, okay, they're childhood friends.
Yeah, and both are ridiculous at the end of the day.
Yeah, but aside from that, I think their little story was all right too. When they had the big fight, and he like kind of broke through his shell, because he thought she was hurt.
And Carol dropped her guard. You see her in a different face. You know, it's nice progression.
Yeah, you saw her like again, her backstory was interesting too,
Yeah.
and seeing like why she is that way, and it's just like, and to have her mom tell the story,
There's a lot of trauma in this show.
there was a lot of trauma. Like it was
Yeah.
that was interesting. The side characters just ran the show to me.
They stole the show.
They
Yeah.
stole the show. They stole the show. June.
Yeah, he's the least interesting
He's the
character.
least interesting character.
No shame in that. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
He's the least interesting character to the point where I'm like, Tomo, why are you trying to impress this guy?
They should just say their thing. That's the thing.
Yeah, it got to the point to me where I'm just like, you're trying too hard.
You think because they just made him like a typical high school boy? Kind of oblivious, kind of like
Yeah.
headstrong, kind of like
the stronger features there, and that's partially part of the like the show itself. So yeah.
I mean, I get the
slow to process his emotions.
Very slow.
everything just annoying. Like it got to the point where I felt like he was oblivious just to serve the story, and I
Yeah.
don't like it
Yeah.
when
The plot. There was
the plot.
yeah. There were moments where I'm
Yeah.
like, and that happens in a lot of like, will they, won't they?
Yeah,
You're like, for the love of God.
Yeah, especially around the summer festival, especially around the story beats of any slice of life. You
Yeah.
name it.
or
And
the Christmas time, giving gifts
Yes,
and that sort of thing.
Well, I like that this was a little bit more casual than
Way casual, and I loved it for it.
yeah, it didn't
loved
take
for it.
itself as seriously as I think it could
compared
have.
to
Mhm.
a lot of modern day ones. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that it was a lot more casual. A lot more of it was played for laughs,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and you get some really good laughs, especially from the side
Yeah,
characters.
and Tomo was a scene stealer for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's especially a scene where June writes that note to her in the classroom. They're about to confess his feelings, and it's like, meet me up at the roof, and she's like, "Where's that jerk?
Mhm.
She's like, I'm gonna kill him.
I can't wait to do it."
Yeah, and then when she terrifies the two first year guys,
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, that was hilarious.
That was
Yes.
hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Yeah,
Tomo's
she's
got
like,
it.
what?
Yeah.
What? She's like, oh, she's a girl. Oh my god. She's like, I got this girl stuff down. No, Tomo, you don't.
No.
They're terrified of you.
They were terrified into becoming her friends.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want to be friends? And then like, yeah. She's like, ah.
Oh, I
Let's
love.
be best friends.
I love the scene where they're in the coffee shop and she shows up dressed like she's going camping.
Oh yeah.
She's got the jeans and the vest, and they're like, "What are you wearing?" They run away.
The bumpkin.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was hilarious. Yeah, this show there was a lot of good laughs. I was entertained by it. I liked the casual nature of it. I liked the intro song. I liked the opening. That was a great song.
Already a top favorite for the year.
Yeah, and then the ending song wasn't a slouch either.
Decent. I like it.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah,
It was good.
I'm trying to rewatch it with the English cast, and I'm not.
Yeah, Martin distinctly is not like he already dismissed it in the first two episodes of Carol, and I'm like, I agree because
I
for
watched
me-
the first episode in English.
Yeah,
Um,
I have a real problem with Tomo-Chan's
that as well. Yeah.
like her VA. I'm like, I get that they want her to sound gruff, but it's like
It's a different type of gruff though. Culturally,
Yeah.
it is. It really
Yeah.
is, especially with women. Yes.
like this is like wow.
Yeah. Because Joshi wrestlers, for example, they don't sound masculine, but it has like a nice energy towards it.
Yeah.
They don't make it like silly.
Yeah, like this is a bit extreme.
Yes.
it was.
Yeah, like
It was.
overly,
That turned
like-
me off. Like I generally don't listen to the English, but I forgot what happened.
Well, I noticed that in some other shows that I've watched, there's a real dumbing down, especially the comedies.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming the voice actors on this, but the performances come across as a little less serious.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more like
Tale
it's-
us all the time because of
Yeah, it's hard to put it into words.
They
but-
treat it like an American cartoon.
Yeah.
Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
Essentially Mel Blanc tone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they treat it like an American cartoon for that kind of audience instead of
Yeah.
like, hey, this is animated, but there's some brevity here.
Yeah, and it transitions from real to to a cartoon. There's a balance in between too.
Well, there's definitely a loss.
Yeah.
And like it's okay. Yeah, this is a comedy, and that's fine. But I should be getting some angst. Like if I'm not getting the angst, because there's definitely some teen angst going on.
Oh yeah,
And if I'm not getting that, then you're losing something in translation.
very much so.
Yeah. I thought I kind of hope that you would have liked it more,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that you watched it, Jamal.
I did. Final thoughts on the show. I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Wow.
6.5 out of 10. Again, I think the side characters stole the show. Misuzu and Carol, I think, stole the show.
Absolutely.
I would much rather see something with them.
Yeah.
If they do a season 2, yeah.
Well, give Mizuzu her own show.
Yeah, I don't need a season 2. Just give her her own show.
That's what they're doing. Rascal Does Not Dream. It's just a new character. So hey.
So I think I would have liked it better if he like saw her as like, the childhood friend instead of like Edwin said, kind of like this pillar of masculinity.
Well, not exactly a pillar of masculinity, but a pillar of what he needed to be in the world to like, he wanted to be at her level and he felt that he wasn't. And he wanted to be like stronger because as a man, he wanted to be able to protect her too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like he was dealing with a lot of like issues that, as a man, those were issues that he was dealing with. Like I said, there was a lot of things in the show would have been resolved by more communication, like more talking to each other and more communication. But these were things that, because of the dynamic, they were afraid of. There was things that he was afraid of, I think, and that change in those dynamics. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was definitely a lot that he was afraid of. Again, I don't see why somebody like Tomo would be for that, because it made him seem kind of weak
compared to her strength. Yeah.
Compared to her strength. And I get the concept of the show, and it's just like, all right, be more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he saw her in the sailor outfit. He saw her in the swimsuit. Like, he saw her in these different things. He saw her as an attractive woman.
Yeah.
So the whole premise of the thing, like, all right, be more feminine, is just kind of like, you see her as that. It's just getting over that hump of, this competitive rival.
Well, seeing her in thing. So this was his childhood friend. He has to be able to see her in a different light every step of the way. He has to see her as a girl and not just his buddy and not just his rival and not just like the person who he's aspiring to, like be on level, to be on the same level with. But like, this is his friend. This is his childhood friend. This is his buddy. So he has to make all those transitions from like, okay, going from this to this, this to this, this to this. And so he spends that time and he like, okay, I see, she's a girl, but it's kind of making me uncomfortable too, because she's all these other things to me too. I felt that was where his mindset was coming from. So he has to like slowly overcome all those things. And it's just like, wow, okay, and okay, and okay.
But here's the thing that trips me up about it is everybody already thinks that you're all together.
Well, yeah, that doesn't matter. People do that all the time.
Everybody already thinks that you're all together, that you're together. So I don't know what the
people assume that stuff all the time. That doesn't mean that the people within the situation
and mostly
are on the same page.
And mostly on the page that they're friends. That's the thing. To say they weren't more than friends.
No. They thought they were dating. Like, they made it clear in the show.
Well, yeah, because everybody thought
they were
because
together.
They were always together and they were possessive of each other.
Very possessive. Like, you gave every indication that you were possessive of this girl. But
well, that doesn't mean that he admitted those feelings to himself to begin with. And sometimes friends are jealous. Let me tell you.
Fair.
That's true.
Yeah. Sometimes friends are jealous when you give other people attention.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it's just
And I'm not trying to spend the whole discussion trying to defend him. I mean, there's definitely the obliviousness there that is necessary for a will they, won't
Yeah,
they.
and how it's handled too, especially Mizuzu's case, because that's like nice little build and revelation at the end.
Yeah.
So,
And
that,
I mean,
well,
and I mean-
compared to June.
yeah. And I mean,
that was pretty early on where we got that revelation.
well, Mizuzu and Carol are obviously a lot more sophisticated and smarter when it comes to these issues
Yeah.
Mhm.
than Tomo-Chan and Juchiro. Yeah, and they're because I think that because they're in the situation, it's a little bit harder to like discern that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've had a bunch of people where like you see these people are together all the time. You're like, oh, they're a couple. I'm like, no.
You'd
Yeah.
be surprised.
No, I mean, there. I don't know. There was just a disconnect for me in this show,
I get that.
and I'm
I get
not
that.
quite sure what it is. But there was definitely a disconnect, and the disconnect for me was definitely with June,
Okay.
because the Tomo character I did like,
Yeah.
and
Tomo
I
was
liked
awesome.
her. I liked her progression.
Yeah.
Misuzu and Carol were great. Again, they were the catalyst of the show to me. There was just a disconnect between me and June that I just couldn't get over. But all in all, it's a good show, and everybody should watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll be discussing it in more length at some later on some later episode because
yes.
me and Jack I think enjoyed it far more. And
Okay, why?
Huh?
Explain this to me.
Well, Edwin brought up if you ever watched Toradora, and Toradora is like the archetypical high school romance anime. It really is, even though it debuted years after the typical genre is conceived.
You have to remember that I hate romance,
Yeah.
according to Edwin.
And it's still
I didn't see that.
it's still a type of genre that even I get like this, like not dismissive, kind of like unsure. Sometimes it goes.
Well, there are better than like Kaguya-Sama.
Yeah, there's kingpins,
but then
beyond other great anime shows. Yeah,
then there's stuff like Cuckoo's Calling.
Yes,
and it's like
that's what I mean. And Edwin's
or girlfriend.
girlfriend.
You can't have
There's
like,
a generic, and there's like the kingpins, like the pillars.
yeah, well, like Kaguya-Sama, Toradora, Horimiya, Sing Yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But with Toradora's case, Tomo-Chan, I like it more, and I just can't help liking it more. It's just one of those feelings you get watching Tomo-Chan go through 12 episodes compared to 24, resolving the issue, even though the main male that has his quarrel. Same thing with Toradora's main character. It's one of those things where it's like a celebration of what the genre should be and can be, and I think it's just going to be one of their all-time greats.
Well, I think the opening and closing songs, I really enjoyed those.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Carol and Mizuzu. I actually enjoyed a lot of the childhood flashbacks
That too.
in this one.
Yeah.
Really worked well for me.
Mhm.
And I was trying to get back with that too. One of the few shows this past decade already that feels like it's debuted 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It just has that energy.
Toradora did, didn't it?
No, Tomo.
Oh, Tomo, I can get that. It does. It definitely has a more retro vibe to it,
Yeah.
especially in Tomo's character, where she's so like, yeah, she's like something. She's like a bruiser girl out of the 1980s.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I can see that. Well, I mean,
We'll get more into it.
we'll get more into it. When you guys review it, I'll listen to it and maybe it'll change my mind.
Yeah.
All
We'll
right.
do an episode, the whole 9 yards.
Cool.
Well, piggybacking off of that,
We'll get to Jamal's
My,
next surprise catch up.
next surprise catch up is the Kaguya-Sama, the first kiss that never ends.
Have you seen it, Edwin? Well, spoiler free. Spoiler free.
I'm spoiling it. You should have seen it already.
It's fine.
Are you sure?
It's fine.
No.
It's fine.
I'm spoiling it. No, I won't spoil it for her. I can do a review without spoiling it.
There you go.
All right. So, did you watch this on Crunchyroll?
I saw it. Found it. And this is a backstory with the 950 Club. I was geeked about this movie,
Mm.
but I was misreading an article that came out, I would say a week or two before the premiere of the movie on Valentine's Day. And it sounded like it was like the final arc of the season 3, but different perspectives. Like we're talking about side characters, like seeing all the interactions at play, because it's such a ridiculous finale. And I'm like, that's interesting, but not necessary. And I didn't think it'd be part of the manga itself too. So I'm like, what's this going in? And I told my friends about this, the 950 Club, and they're like, when it comes out on Crunchyroll. I'm like, well, I'll see the movie. It was on Valentine's Day, sold out show. The crowd loved it. And we're cheering, we're crying.
Oh,
There's moments like that, Edwin. Fair warning.
okay.
So,
I'll prepare myself.
It's its own thing. It's its own story.
it's now on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I've got to watch it.
It's continuing it's a continuing story from the last season.
Oh, okay.
So this is all taking place over Christmas
break.
weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is all taking place over Christmas weekend. So you're having like and it tells you the days, like, all right, boom, day before Christmas Eve, Christmas, like it's telling you the days.
Okay.
And this is what's going
Plays
on,
out over the course
out
of
the course of those days. All the characters that you know and love are in the show. I think it's a 4 episode arc.
It's 2 hours, roughly 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 4, if I'm not mistaken. So they basically kind of slice up the movie, I'm assuming.
No, the interesting thing is that the Crunchyroll has this nice opening, and the movie doesn't have that.
Yeah,
when I
right.
saw it, yeah.
Because the movie, it didn't, like, it just played it as a movie. It didn't show it as episodes.
100%,
right?
yes.
So, yeah, so it's basically, it's the movie, but they just chop it up into 4 different episodes.
Okay.
It's well done. I think you get a story that makes sense. There's a couple times where you're like, oh, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. And then it happens, and then it takes a turn. And then it happens, and then this person takes a turn. And so it's still the will they, won't they thing, and it's playing off of the ending of the last season.
Yeah. And then what was the other thing I wanted to say? Basically, it could be its own finale too, but I feel like there's going to be a season 4, possibly.
I think you could go either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I think you could go either way.
Similar to Tomo, it's like it could be resolved on its own right. And I love that. I really do. Makes you feel good.
I think they could resolve it.
Yeah.
And just say, all right, this is the end. They can continue forward because I think people are invested in their relationship.
Yeah.
So I can see it moving forward.
My all-time favorite romance. Oh.
Especially with are they going to go to school at Stanford? Are they going to stay here?
What are they going to do?
All of that stuff didn't really get tied up.
No.
Because it was just
or Kaguya's father, yeah.
And then you have the other side stories with
I try to remember his name. The weeb in the club.
Oh,
yeah,
I
the
know.
weeb in the club.
Yeah.
With the girl that he likes, and then his story with
snuck in just nice, just there.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
And Chica is surprisingly bad, like put down a smidge.
Yeah,
but
Chica,
necessary, very necessary.
Yeah, Chica is kind of like a
background character.
She's background. We don't get a lot of Chica in this.
Well, because Chica's like a sledgehammer.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, you don't really need...
She's going to be season 4 for all we know. Like the whole season for all we know.
You don't really need like a sledgehammer at this point. It's
for the focus for the movie, yes.
Yeah. They kind of did that, and he kind of realized that at the end of season 3, where he's like, I need to keep Chica busy, because if I don't, she's going to see through all of this. Yeah. It's very much a Carol-like character where it's like, Chica, you are a force unto yourself.
That's a fight.
If I'm going to do this, I need to keep you as distracted as possible.
And that's going to be a fight in the near future. Carol versus Chica.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, so you got that. You got, who's the girl? Is it Maki?
Yeah, Maki, the newcomer.
Yeah, the newcomer. So you get that they're continuing on the story with her and
the other guy, like,
what's his name? Isa.
I forget how he met her. It was sometime in the season 3.
Yeah, they got together because they continue on their story of
Pretty much everybody's story.
yeah. Small spoiler: he brings in like a dirty magazine.
It's a good gag.
And she sees it and she takes it, and they have a moment, and it's kind of like, all right, is there something going on between those two? But then they also had the story of the girl that's on the cheerleading team that he likes, and they have that plays out because he gave her the heart at the festival, so they're playing on that story too.
Yeah.
So you're getting everything that the last season had is tying is going to it. The only real thing that they tie up that they complete is the story of Kaguya and
it's an S. I keep on forgetting his name too. Because every time I watch Oshi No Ko,
there's a lot of names.
There's a lot of names.
There's a lot of characters.
You're doing Comey. Miyuki Shirogane.
Yeah, Miyuki. So Miyuki and Kaguya are the ones that kind of get tied up, but there's still a lot of room, man.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of room, so I get the feeling that they're going to do something more with this story.
There's enough desire from the fans to see more content where we'll definitely see at least, if not another series, I'm sure that we'll see another movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or if they play it off that way, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. I like this interplay a lot better than I like the will they won't they from Tomo.
Oh yeah. And ironically, Tomo are finished conclusives too, so that's interesting.
Well, you see the over the course of Love is War, you see Kaguya like, because the way this show plays out, the laughs make it like you kind of forget that it's a will they won't they, because through the laughter and through the
ironically, like a very hard pressed will they won't they, because obviously come on.
Well, the thing is that they're
so stubborn.
where where most shows you would have one person who's oblivious in let's say Toradora.
Yeah.
Like those two people were like totally oblivious.
Yes.
But for different reasons. You have the same thing going on in Kaguya-Sama Love is War, but the posturing,
yes,
and the egos
and the smarts
and the tearing down of the pride
and the wild cards,
and the emotions of the characters are just so much more robust that you're really like, oh my god, yeah.
Well, see, there's the difference. Like, there's not an obliviousness in this show. Like, they both know. It's like, I know I like her. She knows he likes him. And they both know that they like each other. It's about which one is going to break down first. So I can deal with it if it's like, all right, we both know how this is going to work. Or it's like we are both totally oblivious. It's hard for me when it's like one person's oblivious and the other person's like doing all this.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably where the disconnect is coming from, like talking through it. Because it's like, they both know.
Yeah.
They both know, and it's just a war of who's going to break down first.
Yeah.
And they continue that on, and you have these emotional scenes where sometimes it's between internal thing, sometimes it's between each other.
Yeah.
Where they're, trying to break down. And towards the end, there's a scene with a Christmas gift that just like ties everything together. And you're just sitting there and you're just like, oh, okay, this is going to be it. And it just goes sideways. And it doesn't go sideways in the like crazy funny way that the show goes. It goes sideways in like
a real life.
This person just blew this up.
You gotta watch it, Edwin.
Yeah.
Right as you go home.
And it's one of those weird things where it's on Crunchyroll, but it's labeled as like season 34.
Yeah.
My new biggest pet peeve.
They've been doing some real weird stuff with like their numbering and their like seasons. And I'm like,
Ranking of Kings, it was 3.333, similar Kaguya-Sama movie, but now it's season 4. When it's season 2, guys, Get your act together.
Yeah, somebody over there is not like
Lost in translation, or it could be just laziness.
I think they're running into some big technical difficulties
Very much so.
that are like, look, guys, you guys want to be the major player in anime going forward.
Now these companies in Japan
And
will be like,
this
yeah,
looks-
maybe Disney, maybe High Dive, maybe Netflix.
It just looks really sloppy to
Very.
be like, okay, you're going to be like my main source of anime, and one day the app doesn't work. The next day the app works, but I can't access any of the shows.
You can't download the episodes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, fix the glitches because, man, it's not a good look.
You're a
No.
big content distributor right
Yeah.
now, so you gotta be on the ball.
Yeah, I should not be having these problems.
Like my Crunchyroll was down for like 2 days.
Yeah, mine.
And you guys use the mobile devices
Well, I'm using my PlayStation 5.
or PlayStation.
Like I use, I said it before. I feel like the best functionality I've had with it was on the Switch.
I
Really?
can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
I watched a few episodes on Switch.
Okay.
Oh.
I
Cool.
personally like it best on the Switch.
My Amazon tablet's not
Interesting.
too bad either. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I use my tablet. That's where I watch my High Dive.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I do the High Dive there too sometimes.
Yeah, because you can't get High Dive on in the PlayStation Store,
At the moment.
which I get, but it's still annoying.
Yeah. Well, it's a callback towards Funimation. Like once Funimation went off the store, here
Poor-
comes High Dive. That's interesting.
I miss Funimation.
I know. At this
mean,
point,
their streaming app wasn't that great either.
I had problems. I had quarrels.
but
yeah, their app wasn't
They
good.
never downloaded. I was annoyed by that.
yeah, I mean they weren't ready for the amount of growth that
After the
yeah.
pandemic. Yeah.
I'm not sure anybody is because anime has gotten so big.
It's beyond proportion from when we started this podcast.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, yeah,
Especially this year, because we were discussing before we recorded anime show debuts starting off as a movie. Case in point, the creator of Kaguya-Sama did Oshi No Ko.
which
Yeah. It's
Dude.
number one.
I could not finish the manga. I was just like, this is such a far cry from Kaguya-Sama. I mean,
Mm.
I was like, I don't know if he's trying to. I don't know if this is an indictment of like idol.
He's even with Kaguya-Sama, he sneaks in a lot of his worldview.
Well,
really
he's
does.
definitely saying like, I don't know if he's going for like, let's make this as creepy as possible. To me, it feels more like not a satire,
Well, some
But-
similar
but
vein,
almost an indictment of like.
well, similar vein as Satoshi Kon.
Because making the main protagonist a gynecologist for the idol, and then having him reincarnate as her son, I thought that was like
Deconstructive.
Very strange.
very in the least deconstructive in the most,
Yeah.
and very very strange in the least. At the very least, it was very strange, if not like crossing a line.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my I was
Yeah.
talking to one of our listeners, as a matter of fact, and we've been talking back and forth. And I basically said they haven't seen that first episode yet. And I'm like, I'll be bold. I would say watch the second episode, because the second episode is a different tone, different sway, get the same idea,
Yeah,
because they go back to the first episode. First episode's long. It's 90 minutes. And it's his own
it's a
thing.
movie. Yeah,
It's his own thing. That's
Yeah.
why I think why it's so high in ranking, the number one streamed anime ever
wow.
on High Dive, even more than Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. But the thing is that the movie itself, I feel like it's one of those things where that was more catered towards the manga readers and ones that kept up with it. The second episode, direction wise, shifts the tone and the ethos of the season.
okay.
So maybe use the first movie as like, okay, I'll watch it later. I think you'll like the second episode more than the first episode.
Okay, you think that'll draw me in better?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because they dropped the act. They like at that point, it doesn't really matter about the reincarnation crap.
Yeah. And that's the thing that kind of like got to me. It's like I felt that there was a story that he wanted to tell.
It's a personal story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt that there was a story that he wanted to tell, but that his way of getting there was like the most twisted, convoluted way,
Precisely.
the most awkward, creepy, and roundabout way to get to where he wanted to go.
Yeah. And you didn't finish the first volume.
And well, that was my thing. It was like, all right, I think I can see where you're going with this, but like just getting there, you're losing me, you're alienating me, you're losing me just on your road to get there.
With weirdo sex stuff.
What?
Beyond weirdo.
That's what I put it all in that category.
Well,
of
the
weirdo
thing
sex
is,
stuff.
it isn't weirdo sex stuff. It's the insinuation of weirdo sex stuff.
And there's a myth.
And that's sometimes
Same
that's
thing.
what kills me. It is and it isn't, because it's like, is it weirdo sex stuff? Nothing happens. This is pretty much PG. It's pretty much PG. But the insinuation of it, it's like, what are you playing this for?
First
it's
of all, you know what? Side note, weirdos. If you're a male gynecologist, like really, like come on, dog. Why?
It wasn't necessary.
Why?
And that's the thing.
Like, why? What makes you think? What makes you go? I want to, like, okay, if you had like a relative, like have some sort of like cancer in that area, knock on wood.
Well,
we don't want that to
research
happen.
studies. Yeah.
I could be like, all right, I get it. If you're just a random dude, like, ooh, I want to be a gynecologist, that's a little weird, dude.
Well, most gynecologists are male, I think.
Weird.
Well, you
It
brought
just
up
is what it is,
yeah.
man.
And what you
Weird.
brought up, Jamal, with the cancer. There's the other sister that's reincarnated with him. She's a cancer patient of his.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I didn't even know.
She's not his, like, he has interactions with her on a volunteer basis.
Yes.
But he's not her doctor.
Yeah.
And she's the one that introduces him
To the idol.
to the idol
Yeah.
world. And that's supposed to be why he's obsessed with this idol and why he's telling other people about it, because even the people around him find it kind of creepy that he's into this idol, but he's only into this idol because he had a teenage patient who was dying of cancer that was also into the idol.
It turns out to be his sister in real life.
So there's a lot of like unnecessary insinuations about this guy where I'm like, is this necessary? Is it really necessary?
I know.
I'm like, it's just,
but like I said,
unnecessarily strange. Yeah.
Maybe you know what?
Off-putting.
I think it's safest bet. Like if you want to judge the show, if you want to continue on with the show, it's the second episode.
Okay.
It drops the act. You get the idea. It retraces everything back from the first episode.
Okay, good. Because that needed kind of a reset.
And a hard reset. I would be in the same boat.
Yeah.
Because I was curious mainly with the first episode in the sense of where it was going. And I was like, you know what? It was my first ever, like, I won't stop. I'll keep going. 90 minutes straight. I'm like,
yeah. Well, it's
okay.
like, this was the most roundabout,
even more than Onimai.
The most roundabout, uncomfortable way to get to the fact that she's essentially giving birth to two of her super fans.
She's 16 too. Oh, let's say that as a stereotype.
See? Oh man.
Weirdo sex stuff.
But the
insinuations of weirdo sex
But
stuff.
this is the creator of Kaguya Love is War. And
yeah.
I'm seeing his pieces come together. And like I mentioned with Kaguya-Sama, he sneaks in the commentary. He really does. It makes it
always. Yeah, that's
it's how creative and pretty talented he is. Not gonna lie. I know. All right, we're moving on. We'll
move on to your next.
Y'all are like. I know this show is everywhere because I can't like turn my head without seeing it advertised somewhere. I don't know if it's something that's calling my name.
You don't have to. Trust me, you don't have to.
No, I mean we'll cover it at some point when we do like our catch up. Yeah, when we do our seasonal catch up.
You'll need to.
And I'm advising everyone just watch the second episode.
He's telling me don't even bother with the
Movie's cool. It's just a matter of the second episode being the different focus.
Okay, I'm okay with that because I need that because I read the manga. I'm not ready to watch that.
He sounded like a one-hit wonder, yo.
Well, because they try to do different things, and I applaud them for that. Because I mean, otherwise you would get kind of bored.
The creator of Full Metal Alchemist, the second one she did was Silver Spoon. Total like They have ideas. Let them go with their ideas sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's a totally different like genre and totally different type of feel compared to Full Metal Alchemist.
You ain't got to stay in the same field.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to stay in the same genre.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's going to be good.
Fair. More than fair.
Yeah. I just want you to be good. I don't care what you do. Just be good. Once you lead off with something like that, I'm already like,
I know.
I unfortunately, like, I usually try to keep. Well, no, I'm keeping an open mind, and I read the manga,
and plus you've watched Onimai. I did too.
A lot of these shows, like Jamal will say the weird sex stuff. What upsets me is that there's the insinuation,
and that's
of the weird sex stuff.
And I have to be completely honest, that's like pretty much the cream of the crop of why it's watched so high.
Well, I mean, with Onimai, it's like, yeah, you have like, is this appropriate?
Watch bait.
Well, number one, who's the audience for this? Number two, it's like, yeah, that's a lot of fan service for for essentially a college boy who gets turned into
matured age. Yeah.
Well, a college boy who gets turned into a middle school girl. That's way too much fan service for. It's like, technically she's not. Technically she's a college boy, but it's like, this is way too much fan service.
Even played off as a weird science kind of thing.
Yeah, it's too much fan service for what you're throwing. It's like you're trying to get away with it. You're trying to say this. You're throwing in way too much fan service for what is essentially a show about a girl who cares enough about her brother, who sees that her brother has totally become detached from society and wants to find a way to get him out of his shell, out of the house, and back into the world because she cares about him. That's the core of the show. But you have all these other things around it where it's like, it kind of makes it hard for me to like say that I'm okay with watching this, because some of this is like making me uncomfortable. But like, if you can get to the core, and that's a lot of these shows. Like when we watched My Stepmom's
The Daughter's
My Ex. And so that was, the title was clickbait. It was
watch
just like
clickbait.
Well, it was like troll bait. Like, hey, look, this is not a show you want to watch because it's taboo.
The title itself.
But then that's not what it was about at all. It was about these people who had a relationship with unresolved issues, and then their parents get married, and they're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Now we have to like deal with our unresolved issues as a couple, but now without ruining our parents' lives. Yeah. So it's like, sometimes I think that they go in unnecessary directions that make it more difficult to be just like to keep an open mind. But like I've always said, it's like, if you dig to the core of a lot of these things, that's not what's going on.
Agreed, man.
Yeah.
All right. Whew. Thank you for listening in to another great 950 Club session with Jamal's catchups of Tomo-Chan Is a Girl and Kaguya-Sama Love is War, The Never-Ending Kiss. And yes, also added semi-preview review of Oshi No Ko. Yes, and we recorded just as the debut of Oshi No Ko happened. So it still amazes me that it's the number one streamed anime ever. I mean, ever, which is remarkable. And since Crunchyroll's debut, High Dive overtaking the reins, and High Dive's been around for less than 5 years. So that's how amazing anime has become. And it can only go up from here. And yes, it's also one of those fascinating ideas, let's put it that way, that's just riding the wave. And who knows if it'll still carry on. For all we know, the ending could be horrendous. But so far, Jack's personal opinion, it's been A-okay. And with the crazy taboo crap, I know. I don't blame you one bit if you're put away with that plot device. Let's put it that way. Nonetheless, we thank you for listening in. Please like, subscribe, download, and share, and comment, and let us know how we're doing. Positive feedback is always a welcome thing. And yeah, if you guys have a suggestion or two, let us know. Thank you for listening in, and goodbye for now.